Hey, I'm Ida Michael,
And I'm Bini&Eden.
and we're the B family.
Hey y'all, on this journey we're going to take y'all to the reasons why we decided to leave the United States in 2021 and pretty much start a life abroad from scratch. The reality is when the pandemic hit, we were just as lost as everybody else. We had a moment of clarity, as you might say. It took us back to our childhood, to our humble beginnings. We're both immigrants out of Eritrea, and we didn't really come here with much. We didn't have much, but we did have a lot of love. We had faith, we had a lot of freedom, we had family, we had a close circle. And we realized at that point in our life, despite our financial status as you might be, we were both entrepreneurs. We had a successful club in Atlanta. We had a beautiful home. We were very lonely, we were very closed off, and we felt a bit of emptiness inside, despite our beautiful family having what on paper would seem to be like everything really. And that was the catalyst for us to really seek out a new way of living, seek out freedom, a new way to rebuild our finances and our faith and our marriage and family. And it's led us to this point in our life where 4 years later we're in Malaysia via Uganda, and we're going to take you on this beautiful journey of ours. So in 2021, after about a year of YouTube and Google explorations, I made the leap and talked to my wife and got her permission to explore East Africa. Essentially, that's where we're from. And we started with the English-speaking country of Uganda. Specifically, I landed in Kampala, Uganda back in June 2021. And to be honest with you, I thought I was going to go hop around to Rwanda and Kenya and explore further, but I got to tell y'all, I automatically fell in love. I thought it was the most beautiful country that I've ever seen in my life. The people, the food, the culture, everything. The bodas. I just thought the whole place was an amazing adventure. And more importantly, just the people were so friendly, so hospitable, and there was already a huge population of Eritrean immigrants there that when I got there, it made it feel like home. And call me crazy, and because my wife did at the time, and a lot of my close circle of friends in Atlanta thought I was crazy, because in the first week that I was there, I connected with a local company called Expat Assist that I had called prior to arriving there. They helped me. They did all my bookings, my visa runs, and my transportation. And we actually looked for properties right away. And I made a bid for a property as soon as I got there the first week. And looking at hindsight, a little crazy. And I'll do another video why you shouldn't do that, despite the fact that because of God's grace, it worked out. But we ended up choosing a property, and we went through the ringers of buying it, and we just fell in love with the country. So honestly, what did you think when I first called you and I said that I made an offer on that property?
Honestly, so I think Eve was a newborn then. She was born in April.
Right.
And at first I'm like breastfeeding, thinking, what is he talking about? You made a bid on okay, cool, that's nice. It didn't dawn on me. I was like, not in a million years did I think you would go on vacation to Uganda, country I've never actually been to before, and go buy property. I mean, it just was. I think I hung up. I was like, okay, that's wonderful, babe. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye. And I had to call you back, thinking, what did you just say to me? You bought.
Yeah.
You were going crazy.
Honestly, folks, I honestly didn't think the transaction was going to go through. I'm a guy who believes in just rolling the dice. I do love to take my chances. That's been all my life. They call me a small-time gambler in a sense when it comes to my entrepreneurial life. But I believe in faith, and if it worked out, it would have been a huge win, which it ended up being. And if it didn't work out, hey, I was there. Who thinks it's going to work out anyway, right? Nobody's going to blame you if it didn't work out. So it was just a win-win situation, and I took advantage of the moment. And what do you know? God's grace. It ended up working out for us. but it definitely was a shell shocked at first. And I knew she was, in her mind, I don't know what she was thinking, but she was ready to cuss me out
Yeah,
probably.
after I put the baby down, but yeah, but Sheila, like you said, I am a firm believer of keeping faith, and whatever is meant to be will be yours.
Absolutely.
You don't have to fight it. You don't have to block it. And I think this has been one of the biggest blessings because it was our, I guess you can say, our vehicle moving us forward to be able to slightly uproot, I guess, because you do still have a foothold in America, but it allowed me and the children to leave America and start this life of ours, start this journey, and it's been a big blessing, an amazing blessing that's still giving.
Yeah, I mean, our first goal, we weren't looking for business. Let's put that out there first and foremost. We didn't leave America thinking we were going to be millionaires in Africa, or there's a lot of talk, or people talk about racism in America, or America was turning bad, or this, that. God bless America. It's made us. It's been our home. We're Team USA all the time. We had a beautiful life. Like we said, we were doing extremely well financially. We were just missing something. We were missing a sense of community and searching for a home. That was it. We were looking for a home, something a little bit more calmed down, a little bit different than where we were in Atlanta. We were in the height of the party scene. If anybody's been to Atlanta, it's the most turned up city in the U.S. And by all means, we were blessed. We are blessed to have experienced that time period in our lives. And we had that club going up until this year. And we'll make another video as far as why we left that club and how that ended up. But to be honest with y'all, Atlanta was great to us. It's still our home. I still love Atlanta. I'm ATL all the way. America is still our home. We will always have roots there. We'll always have a home there. But we were looking for something different because it was changing. America is changing. Atlanta was changing. We were looking for more family-friendly establishments. We were looking for a more conservative side of the world. And that's not where everything was headed. If it was about money, we would have sat our butts right there because we were doing great. I mean, the money was rolling in. It was the pandemic, and everybody was spending left and right in the club scene. And part of what we were able to achieve was because of that. But the reality is there's more to life than money. And it's easier said, I guess, when you've made a little bit of it. But we were there in the moment, and we realized that there's more to life. We wanted a sense of family, a sense of community. We wanted a sense of faith, of freedom. I felt like the more money we made, the more closed off we became from our friend circle, from our family. At that point, I hadn't seen my mother in 3-4 years. Me and my sister barely spoke, and we lived down the street from each other. Me and my brother barely spoke, and we lived down the street from each other. And going to Uganda, you would think it would put us further apart, but it actually brought us closer together. And that's part of this journey of ours, is we're still in the process of rebuilding that, because you don't rebuild that overnight. And I think my wife can agree with some of the things I'm saying, but I'll let her to speak to the fact of how she felt at the time, like what we were going through as a mom, as a wife.
So definitely for me, like we said, I think pandemic was the height where I felt my most loneliest. Obviously there is having children, being at home with the children, not having your family with you really hits home then when you have newborns. And during pandemic, we were all shut in the house. So I think really to move to Uganda after I got over my initial shell shock of what the hell did he just do, I think I came to terms with, you know what, this will be a good change for us because we will be closer to family. We'll be able to have the help of family there. And since being in Uganda, it takes a village. It really is a community and a village out there. We're not Ugandan. We're not Ugandan, we're Eritrean, but still there is a sense of family and connection there. I have a huge circle of Ugandan friends, as well as Eritrean friends, and it really is a community. I've got friends from all over. Actually, I've got best Jamaican friend and Omanian friend. I've got friends from all over, so I want to shout all of them out. But it really did become an extended family, and I think that's one thing that I was missing in America. And on top of it, um, we come from a conservative culture, and I think the Ugandan culture was very open and welcoming, and also kind of had the same views, like as far as raising children. You start to feel like, am I doing this parenting thing right? In America, I was looking at YouTubes and different podcasts and how you should parent and how you shouldn't parent, and it started to feel very isolating, and constantly questioning myself, like, am I doing this right? Am I setting up for failure in the future? I don't know. But I think going to Uganda allowed me to see other moms just like me living life, not in their phones searching how to live life and how to raise children. And I think that was a huge help for me moving forward with the kids. Helped me build my confidence, helped me build my parenting skills even more so. And just having that community in Uganda has been amazing. I think I'm so happy you made that crazy move 4 or 5 years ago now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I will touch on is, because we were in Atlanta, and I think a lot of Americans, whether you're an immigrant or wherever you're from, as an American, you have this sense that America is becoming more dangerous. And specifically, I can speak to Atlanta, and growing up in Atlanta, growing up in DeKalb County is not where it used to be. A lot more shootings, a lot more homicides, robberies, thefts, burglaries. And you know what? It's not to say that there's no danger in Uganda, but I'll give it up to their security services. I'll give it up to their police services. I'm forever thankful, because it is by far one of the safest countries that I've ever been. And we've traveled throughout Asia, Africa. My wife's been throughout Europe. I've been throughout the United States. She's lived in LA. We've lived in New York together. But it's just that America's changing, and the crime levels have just been terrible over the years. And I got the sense that during the pandemic, it was getting worse. With that time period, crime was getting worse at an all-time high, and it's gotten worse since then. And we've been proven right for ourselves, not to try and prove to anybody else, but everything that we feared has come to fruition in terms of the safety and how bad that situation was getting in our neighborhood. I'm sure it's the same throughout the United States, and there's better pockets than anything else. I'm not fear-mongering, but crime is a problem in America right now, and we saw that coming, and we saw that coming a mile away. And what we found in Uganda is it's so peaceful. Is there petty theft? Yeah. We've never had instances of that. We've never been attacked. Our safety was never a problem in Uganda. We've been there with my children. We walk the streets at night. They just do such a phenomenal job of keeping everybody safe. And to be honest with you, the diversity's there. It's not a homogenous group of people. There's dozens of languages spoken. Within Uganda, there's dozens of languages, but they've got Eritrean immigrants, Sudanese, Burundian, Rwandese, Congolese, Ethiopians, and all these people live, work, eat, just side by side, sleep together, and there's safety. And I know there's a lot of negative news out there, about not just Uganda, but Africa in general, and the lack of safety, and how everybody tries to perceive it as a civil unrest and protest and violence all the time. And I've got to tell you, I feel much safer in Uganda. I feel much safer in Kampala than I do in Atlanta, Georgia, than I do in DeKalb County, especially, where, my experience has been nothing but, corruption and nepotism on an extremely high level. And unfortunately, I saw that through my business experiences and through my personal life. I was educated there from an early young age. I went to high school there. I went to college there. And what I find in Uganda is just a lot more safety and stability And from coming from a nation that is still developing, they're still got a long way to go. But it's as a man, and it could be different. I feel extremely safe, and I'll let my wife speak to it because she's been there on her own before.
Oh, definitely. Like, you know, throughout the last 4 years, you know, you've been leaving for pockets at a time.
Right.
And I honestly can't say there's been a time where I felt unsafe. Like you said, there is the petty theft. Like, you know, people will warn you, you know, don't be silly and walk with your phone or with your window down. They'll snatch your phone up quickly. But it's not a place that I've ever felt like somebody is looking at me, disliking me for who I am, or wanting to harm me for what I have. So I've never had that fear for myself or my children, and we walk around the neighborhood. The only thing I haven't done, which I'm ashamed of, and I'm gonna get to it, but I haven't rode Boda Boda. I've been scared shitless because I know I'm a terrible driver, so like, that's the only thing I haven't done. But outside of just like you said, the petty theft, there's really nothing in the country. I feel like the security's very, very stiff in the country. I mean, your car gets checked at every supermarket, every hotel, every attraction point that has lots of people. They're very good with their security throughout the country. So I think it's very safe.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that goes to the authorities there. I mean, everybody wants to say the bad, so let's say what is the good. The good is the authorities keep the country extremely safe. They keep the population extremely safe. It's the region is not this peaceful region. There's a lot of instability, but in the midst of that instability, they call Uganda the Pearl of Africa, and the proof is there in the pudding. The proof is that it's the biggest host of refugees in Africa right now. And you can call us refugees from America right now, having lived there for the last 4 years. And big ups to the authorities there, the security services, from the police to the army, and all the other people keeping us safe and keeping the population safe. So yeah, I mean, we've touched on what we can. We've been asked to make these videos for quite some time, actually. We've been in the country for about 4 years. If you have any questions for us, I know a lot of people are curious. Over the past, those closest to me have reached out. I've helped nearly about 4 people resettle in the country. We've got a ton of resources. If you're ever in if you're ever in Kampala, come visit us at Eden Manor, Uganda. We're on Airbnb. If you need help with logistics, we can definitely help you with that. But more importantly, just if you want to hear more content like this, see more content about Uganda and our move abroad, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.